Yo, Dre, I got something to say. Today is the 100-year anniversary of something uh, that is, is history, is world history, is American history, is black history, is history of white violence, white terrorism, killings of black people by white people, the Tulsa race massacre, Black Wall Street, 1921, starting on Memorial Day, for about 24 hours on into June 1st. A segregated city of Tulsa had a thriving area in Greenwood. It's known as Black Wall Street. It's one of the wealthiest communities in the country. It kind of thrived because of segregation. Kind of your ultimate community, you know. Many businesses, mom and pop type operations, have their own barber shop, their own schools, own candles, their own sewing shops, seamstresses, cleaning, legal system. Segregation was working for them. They were thriving, very wealthy. On this channel, I talked a lot about how black liberations throughout history has been met by white violence. Well, the thriving area of Greenwood, Black Wall Street, certainly no different. The reality is, and it's nice hearing people willing to admit that it happened. I'm fortunate enough to have my mother was a history teacher with a focus on black history, and her being white was limited, but found growing up, many black people that I tried to learn from about it. Wasn't aware that it happened. Met some people from Tulsa, denied it, didn't know it happened. Whitewashing of history. We're all victims of, black and white. It's wrong. Over 300 people were killed. Black people were killed. White mobs, terrorism, ground assault, and air assault. They came in, wiped it off the face of the earth, just went to war on it. Black bodies everywhere. All the businesses being looted. There's your looting right there. They didn't leave anything left for people. Survivors were left running. Nothing but the clothes on their back, if that. It was clearly an act of terror. Not one person was ever charged with a crime. A mass lynching. I think it's also important to look at what happened afterwards, or what's happening today. Last year on the anniversary, there was a Trump rally in that area. Well, where was the largest KKK headquarters in the country? Where was it located at? 1921, after, when you think they try to rebuild? Right there in Greenwood. Tulsa's history of racial problems, well documented. This has not been. But, like, police aren't held accountable for killing black people. Blacks in Tulsa, very over-policed. Like with whitewashing of history, we know the face of the criminal to be a black face. Well, that's how the police treat them. Black people are twice as likely to be poor in Tulsa now. 1/3 of black Tulsa residents live in poverty. Justice for Greenwood, reparations, we need to acknowledge it. We need to give financial compensation to any victims that are still alive and any of their descendants. We need to learn about it. We need to teach it. In Tulsa, they're debating on whether or not, in Oklahoma, laws are out on the books to even acknowledge it, whether or not you're allowed to teach it. White people need to not be able to write their own history and ignore Confederate flag. It's heritage, not hate. They're trying to take away our history. Ain't nobody taking away your history. We're trying to tell it. I didn't learn about it till later on in my life. I actually learned about it after learning about the Lane massacre, which could be the largest loss of life in American history. Right here in Arkansas, farther away from where I live in Fayetteville than Tulsa is. Tulsa's just a 2-hour drive. It's real. It's American history. Black people weren't allowed to be wealthy. White people couldn't stand it. Kind of like the way white people react to black people wanting civil rights, for us to be civil, or equality. White people don't take too kind to that, or for their lives to matter. Not too much to ask for. So, maybe go to greenwoodreparations.com and learn more. There's documentaries out all over the place. Learn how Greenwood was created, about the Juneteenth and the freeing of slaves from Texas, finding out about it. A lot of them migrated to Tulsa and they thrived. But we couldn't allow that inferior race to make more money, to thrive, to be happy. So, I think it's important on this 100th anniversary that we talk about it and keep it in conversations. And there were massacres all over the countries in the hundreds, and the resurgence of the KKK. And let's try to get real. And all this stuff's been covered up so bad. We have to learn. We have to research it. We have to get to the truth. Learn. I've been trying to learn about it for a while, and I don't know much, but I'm going to keep trying to learn. Yo, Dre, got something to say. Sorry.